Hi Anna, how did you sort of see that game, getting the win on your first match as Liverpool manager?
I think there were a few positive things, and of course a few things we have to improve. A positive thing is that we kept a clean sheet. I think we only conceded one big chance, and that was somewhere around the last 10 minutes of the game. So we controlled the game really well. And in between we had a few good attacks where we created a few good chances and scored a good goal. So that were the positives from this game.
How much was the team in your own image, the style of play, the formation, and how much of it was out of necessity because you don't have that many players available?
I think during the season you will see us play with a real striker. But at this moment we have no one available, and then with Dom and Harvey we've got two number 10s, so we put them in the position they will play during the season as well. So that was one of the reasons why we played with a double 10 instead of with a striker. That is maybe out of necessity. But for the rest, the style of play with trying to build up from the back, that is our style, to control the game, to not concede constant counter-attacks. That will hopefully be our style during the season, and there were also, of course, many things we can improve, but that's normal after 2 weeks.
We haven't seen Bajcetic in game action for quite some time. What were your thoughts on his performance?
I think you have to take into account with Stefan that he was out for a year, 1.5 years almost. So if a young player is out for that long, you have to give him some time. But I saw today already a few good moments from him, and also a few moments where he got caught because he acted a bit too slow. But I think that's normal if you've been out for such a long time. Then you need rhythm, you need game time to grow even further. But I think he showed some good moments during the half hour that he played.
So you talk about wanting to play out of the back. Matisse pressed pretty heavily for most of this game, pretty high up the field. How do you feel that your team coped with being able to play out of the back under that pressure in the first game here?
I think we pressed them higher than they did us. We won the ball back a lot of times high on their half. But there were moments that they pressed us high. We played through their press a few times really good. So the goal was an example of that in the second half. Our biggest chance of the second half was an example of that as well. But I also saw moments where we lost the ball too simple or we made the wrong choices. And I think that's normal after 2 weeks of trying to implement more control from the back. So we take some positives and we take some things which we can and have to improve, especially with the likes of Arsenal and Man United coming up.
Anna, you just coached Liverpool for the first time in front of fans. How did that feel for you personally?
If I'm coaching my team, I'm only focused on 11 players. What can they do? What can they do better? Which positions they have to take? Which choices do they make? So I'm not so aware constantly of coaching Liverpool or the amount of fans that are there. My focus is mainly on the team and where can I help them during the game or during half-time. So of course it's a nice experience to play in front of the fans because they were there with a lot of people, even over here in the USA. Yeah, like I said, mainly focused on the players and not as much focused on the fans, but it's nice to play in front of them and to have them here as well.
How's Curtis? Obviously we saw him come off and he was talking about how excited he was about being part of the team and sort of, potentially get a chance to show what he can do. So how is he kind of personally as well? Because I know he really wanted the chance to impress.
Yeah, it's always a pity if he has to go out after, I think, 25 minutes, half an hour. And before that, you could see that he was not completely free. So it was unfortunately because he had 2 really good weeks during training sessions. So I look forward to seeing him in the game, but unfortunately he had to go out. The good thing about that was that we brought someone that impressed me in the 45 minutes to an hour he played afterwards. So yeah. That was the positive thing of Curtis going out for Trey, but of course for Curtis it's a pity that he couldn't play on.
Trey's just 17, just turned 17. How much of a talent is he?
I think he did really well today, but it was only an hour, and like I said, he did well. He was one of the reasons why we scored the goal because he turned really quickly and spot on pass in between the lines. and he was also involved in the biggest chance in the second half. So he did well, but he just turned 17. His body has to grow, and we are really careful with him so he doesn't join every session. And sometimes he go out a bit earlier, because like you said, he only turned 17, and you can see his quality, but you can also see his body still has some needs some time to grow to play at Premier League level. But he showed some interesting things today.
What was the field condition like? I mean, this is normally a U.S. football field that hadn't been expanded for European soccer. So what was the field condition like?
No, the field was really good. Sprinkled it, was full of grass, so I think the field suited the way we wanted to play. And we did lost the ball a few times, but that had nothing to do with the field. That had to do with the individual performance of some players and the choices they made. But the losses of the ball had nothing to do with the pitch. The pitch was perfect.
Just on Jones, was it a precaution or could he be facing a bit of time out, or is it too early to tell yet?
I think that's too early to tell, but he maybe could have played on, but I think you could see that he was not on 100%. And then in a friendly game with so many days coming up in our tour as well, it's best to take him off. Hopefully he can recover really fast, but we have to wait and see. But we hope he recovers really fast so we can see him in the next few games.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The next zone will be open just outside this door. You can follow Gary and